Hello, this is Nicky in Shanghai. Women make the majority household purchases, but companies that build these household brands are run mostly by men. Mad Men's Peggy Olson may be surprised to find out that only 15% of senior managers in America's ad industry are women. Faced with the chronic shortage of senior talent in China, the country has welcomed women into business. But the question is, can they make it to the top? We'll be looking at glass ceiling in China today, and our own PT Black will be talking about surprising roles that women play in China's history. But first, we're talking with Laura Desmond, CEO of Starcom MediaVest Group. You are one of the very few women running a leading and global agency network, and frankly, one of the youngest. What's your secret to your success?
I think it's equal parts luck as well as, I think, right timing. But, I feel like I've always had a chance to help my company, help my clients at the same time as accelerating my career. And, I think that my company really values diversity, values difference. The Publicis Group itself is Viva la Difference, and so I think my position inside the company generally has been applauded and supported simply because it's part of their DNA to want to celebrate diversity.
Do you feel that you have actually made a lot of family sacrifices, along the way that men probably don't actually have to make?
Well, I think sure. I mean, I think the dirty little secret about all of these roles is they're hard. And I think, a man makes as many sacrifices as a woman does doing the same role. A lot of time away, a lot of travel. Even when you're home, you're, glued to your BlackBerry, to your PC, or to a mobile phone. So I think they just call for sacrifices anyway. I think that, to the degree for me that I make it work is I really try to find moments during the year where you can achieve balance. I tell everybody who works for me, and I stick to this: take all of your vacation. Don't sacrifice your holiday time. It's okay to turn the BlackBerry and the PC off over a weekend, or not look at BlackBerries after 9 p.m. at night. It's okay to draw a line or set a limit. And when you are working, be as productive as you can be, because you can't be expected to be a robot who sacrifices family and friends and fun. In fact, the people over the years who have worked for me who have sacrificed that really ended up burning out. And the last thing I want to see is people at our company burn out. So it's really about integrating fun into your life at work and putting a limit on your work life so that you can have fun and enjoy the things in life that make people happy.
So you're really saying that there isn't a glass ceiling in the West?
Is there a glass ceiling? Absolutely, sure. It's not as thick as it used to be. I think it's a lot higher than it used to be. So 20, 30, 40 years ago, the Peggy Olson that you referred to in the opening, bumped up against it, without really having to raise her head much at all. For me, it's a very different thing. I'm lucky. I stand on the shoulders of a lot of women who came before me and pushed the glass ceiling up. So is there one? Yes. Has there ever been a better time to be a woman and a senior leader in companies? No, this is a great time. And I think the advancements that I'm making and other women across our company are making is just going to make it easier for the next generation behind us to keep moving forward. But ultimately, and I really mean this, ultimately, the glass ceiling is not just imposed on you. The glass ceiling is also a choice. And over the years, I've seen very talented women just say, I know I could make it. I know I could push through the glass ceiling. I could break it. I could shatter the glass. But it's going to take enormous sacrifice, and I don't want to necessarily do that. And so there are a lot of talented, capable women who just say, I acknowledge that I don't want to put that much more into it and I'm going to step away. I choose something else. And so it's, for me, it's not just about imposition, it's about choice. And some choose to go through it and others do not. And I think both are equally fine.
How about China then? Do you see a lot of women in China that aspire to be in a leadership position?
I do. I do. I think that we have some very strong women in roles. We have Bertilla Teo, who works for our company. We have other strong women who are in the media industry. And I think that's a spectacular message, especially in a market like this where so many young women are coming into the workforce for the first time. And I think, in some ways, these women leaders are making more advancements faster than in the Western world. And I fully would expect that there'll be more women coming into senior management roles because they're starting off now, here today, in a fast-growing marketplace, and so there will be more opportunity for women to succeed.
So you are saying basically China's offering a lot more opportunities for women in, specifically in the marketing advertising agency? I
think because it's a growth market, it's absolutely offering opportunities. I think that especially in this market, that increasingly I think is opening to more diversity, different thought, different ideas, different perspectives. I think that also really adds to it too. So I do. When I look around the other emerging markets in the global economy, the usual suspects, Brazil and the Middle East and Russia and Poland, India, I think without a doubt China has more women leaders represented in the industry, and that is great to see.
Great. And what qualities does it, take to be in that leadership position? Is hard work alone enough, or what else should they possess? Is it that the hunger alone? You talked about choice. Obviously, you need to choose that. But beyond that, what else?
Well, my philosophy for talent in general is great talent needs to have two things: great desire, so you need to want it. You need to be hungry. You have to have that fire in your belly to succeed and to push, to win. So great desire, and you have to match that with great ability. Are you smart? Are you decisive? Are you thoughtful? Are you charming? Are you charismatic? Can you gain people's trust? And I think that in general, anyone who rises to senior management ranks has both of those qualities. I think in a woman's case, the desire really has to be strong, because you can be as smart, you can be as thoughtful, you can be as decisive, but you're tested in a man's world a little bit differently at times. And so that real hunger, that drive to succeed, that desire to succeed, in my view, for a woman has to be that much more. But if you have both, great talent usually finds its way through any obstacles. The glass ceiling, the obstacles in the way of any career path. So, to me, that's what it's really all about.
Do you see a difference between Chinese women and their counterparts in the West when it comes to that choice, that personal decision to be at the top of their game?
I mean, honestly, I think it is really hard for me to make a generalization. I've been in China many, many times, but I don't feel like I have enough specifics to answer that with a lot of certainty. What I tend to see is I see women have a lot of great characteristics of successful Western, or Chinese women have a lot of great characteristics as Western women do. And let's face it, as all women do, decisiveness, willingness to accept responsibility, drive, smarts, intensity. And I think, personally, I think it's a wonderful thing. I watch, our leader at Starcom MediaVest Group, Bertilla Teo, take on, things without even missing a beat, without even, really even questioning herself, just because there's that intensity, that drive, and that focus to win. And, that's that's something that I'm very familiar with in America or in Western Europe, but I think ultimately it's, you know, again, winners have those kinds of characteristics, and I don't think it matters if it's in China or anywhere else around the world. That's what winning people do.
In your company, is there like a so-called girls' club where senior management females get together and have a joint coffee break and talk about things happening in the company?
You know, I mean, I definitely have seen and witnessed over the years the boys' club, so I guess it's only fair that there's a girls' club. I think at times I think it's harder for women to support each other, and so the girls' club exists, but it doesn't exist in the exact carbon copy of a boys' club. I actually see girls' clubs sometimes being harder on women, harder on each other, because they really push each other to do more and not, accept some of the excuses. And so, I think it's only fair that one exists, but I actually think the role of the girls' club actually is different. I think it's to support women, to support their efforts, and then sometimes not give them a break. I think, to push each other. I was having drinks late last night with a number of the team from Starcom, and we were all standing around a table, and I think by coincidence there were just a lot of young women there, and telling stories and so forth and so on, and not one of them gave each other a break. I mean, it was kind of fast and furious. So I actually kind of liked that. I thought that was fun. I think, if the boys' club exists to support, that's great. If the girls' club exists to support but also push, I think that's even better. Okay.
And what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received when you're starting out your career?
I've gotten a lot of advice, and I've taken a lot of advice over the years. I think, for me, I think the best piece overall that I've listened to is just learn from everything I do, whether it be a success or a failure. And I've really always tried to do that. And learn from everybody you work for, too. I mean, for me, it's much more interesting to work for somebody who challenges me and pushes me than someone who gives me a free ride. So that's always a stimulating environment. I think over the course of my career, I've actually learned more from some of the things that I did wrong as opposed to some of the things that I did right. I mean, sometimes when you have success, you just take it for granted. You just think, well, of course. And then you do something, not so right. You fail, you stumble. And over the years, I've just taken the advice of be reflective about that. Be thoughtful about that. Try to, chunk down what happened, and can you analyze it and then start again and try to avoid that mistake the next time. So I've always been really comfortable with this notion of failing is fine. Failing fast is better than failing and not realizing it. But learn from what you do, and it's okay to leap forward on mistakes, and it's okay to continue to challenge yourself and push yourself forward with success as well as with failure.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you.
Here is a thought or two from our own PT Black about women's role in China's history.